Hello and welcome back to the NBA DFS Slate Breakdown for Monday, February 10th. We're back. We're breaking it down. We got a nice big slate on this Monday morning, day after the Super Bowl, where NBA takes center stage in the sports world once again. Now, let's get into it. I am your host, Tyler Wiemann, at FlatTyler83 on your DFS sites and Twitter. Now, come join us at LionStar, $39.99 per month. Gets you access to all we do, or you can get the $239.99 per year price, which saves you. It's pretty much half off there. So let's dig in. All right, starting with the point guard position, we got Jose Alvarado, 32% owned. He is the high-owned point guard of the day for sure with CJ McCollum out. It is likely that he is going to start and play some big-time minutes. When he plays big-time minutes, we've seen pretty solid upside, so I like Jose Alvarado in this spot for sure. I'm fine with eating some chalk there. Now, 27% Kyrie Irving, 8,700 versus the Kings. It's not the best spot in the world, but Kyrie should have a ton of usage. No AD again. It's back to the Kyrie show. Obviously, Luka's shipped off, so I'm fine getting some Kyrie. His price is probably where it should be, but he does have the ceiling to afford this price. So I don't love the ownership, but I'm going to get some Kyrie. I'm not fading him totally, but I probably do come under the field at 27%. Next, we got Jordan Poole, 7,600 versus the Spurs. Very good spot. It's going to be a high-paced game. Wizards are obviously without Kuzma, and it looks like Smart, Middleton aren't going to debut until after the All-Star break. So I like Poole. His usage is high. His fantasy points per minute has been high. Definitely don't mind getting him in this spot with the type of ceiling that he has at 7,600 in what should be a high-scoring game. Pivot-wise, Damian Lillard is questionable, so that is a worry. He does have a groin issue that he's been, dealing with here for a little bit. Giannis is out. Middleton's been shipped off. Kuzma is there, but Lillard is going to have all the usage he possibly wants on this slate, and he definitely gets a boost from no Giannis. Not that concerned with the Warrior spot. They have been good versus point guard, but Lillard can beat anybody. I don't mind attacking that. Then on the other side, we got Buddy Hield. It appears they might be leaning into Buddy Hield a little bit. 28 minutes, 35, 31. While I don't expect over 30s in this spot with Jimmy Butler playing and all that, kind of can see us hitting 28 minutes again, and we don't need a huge minutes, from Buddy Hield. We just need him to get a little hot from three and be able to knock down those shots. As long as he's knocking them down, he has the ceiling to, let us have a good game. I don't mind getting some Buddy Hield. And then Stephon Castle. So this is a weird one for me because he is no longer in the starting lineup. He played 20 minutes in his first spot off the bench, but then 31 and 29 in two games where, he was fairly hot. So I think he may have to get hot to get those minutes. But I also do think that they want to give him the minutes. So he's been playing well. I don't mind that he's coming off the bench. I don't mind taking some shots versus the Wizards. This is a game environment that I really like. I mean, you gotta love to attack the Wizards. They continually have, people showing up in perfect lineups. So let's keep going there. On to point guard on DK. We got Jose Alvarado, Jordan Poole, Damian Lillard. We talked about them all, so we will move it on over to shooting guard. We got Jordan Hawkins, 4,200. I would expect him to start with no CJ McCollum, but who knows what totally happens here. The Pelicans could do a lot of things here. Projected minutes, 29 for him right now. If he's going to play 29 at his price, I'm going to be interested in. We will have to wait to see, what the lineup is, but I would expect him to get at least, 24-ish minutes, which if he's getting 24, I don't love it. I do want him to see seeing the starting role, but we'll have to wait and see if he does get it. Antonio Reeves, he is one I am a little bit interested in. It is more of a blowout narrative with him. I doubt he starts. He probably comes off the bench, but last couple games with their injuries, he's seeing 15 and 14 minutes. We have him at 23. I think that is absolutely viable. And if there's blowout run, he could get a little extra run. We've seen him in the past have a nice little game in when he's got a shot. So I don't totally hate going there. Cautiously optimistic on him. I wouldn't go too hard on him, though, because I do think we really need blowout run for him to be optimal. Zaire Williams, 4,800. I don't mind it. He's cheap enough, getting enough minutes, but not one that I'm prioritizing. On to shooting guard on FanDuel. Poole, Jordan Clarkson, Jordan Hawkins. So Clarkson, last two games, he's starting 42 minutes and 34 minutes and 34 minutes. So 33, 34. So I would expect him to play a decent amount of minutes here. He's played well as a starter. There's no Colin Sexton. He's taken over that role. We know he has a big-time scoring upside. It's also versus the Lakers, who he used to play against. Now, it's not really a revenge narrative because he's been off the Lakers for a very, very long time. But I don't mind getting some Clarkson. Love that he's starting. Love that he's playing big-time minutes. And, you know, Collier can definitely facilitate and get him the ball if he's open. So a little interested in Clarkson. Hawkins, we covered. Trey Murphy, 8,500, is expensive, but he should be able to shoot all the shots he possibly wants today. And if the shot's going in, we know there is a ceiling. So I don't totally hate it, but it is a very tough matchup versus the Thunder and a, 17-point spread here. So don't love the spot, but you could do worse. Healed Reeves, we've covered. Zach LaVine, 7,300. Look, he has not shown up yet for the Kings. He has had 3 games. Hasn't done much. 21, 31, 34. He's at least improving and getting in the flow with his team a little bit every day. We do have a very high 236 total. I don't mind having a little Zach LaVine here, but I'm not going to go overboard. It's an interesting spot to me. And then Cassell we talked about, so we'll get over to shooting guard on DraftKings. Hawkins, Bub Carrington, and Antonio Reeves. Bub Carrington has entered the starting lineup again. Went off for 41, went off for 42. In 2 decent matchups. This is another okay matchup. Spurs are 11-point favorites, though, so it could be a blowout. But in a blowout scenario, I expect Carrington to still get some minutes. Washington's in a lot of blowouts, and their starters generally play decent minutes. The one that would get hurt more is Jordan Poole, not Carrington. Carrington has shown us a little ceiling recently, but I just don't think that's the player he is going to be the rest of the season. I think he is just having a good little run here. I don't mind a little bit, but I'm definitely not going hard for him. And small forward on FanDuel, we got Kuzma, we got Paolo Banchero, and Javonte Green. Javonte Green likely slides back into the starting lineup, but not totally sure here. That is a wait to be seen situation. Kuzma, 6,200. Got the start last game. Should continue to get the start from here on out. Played 36 minutes. Without Giannis, I would expect him to play a big minutes too. Definitely fine going here. He's going to be right around a 1 fantasy per minute guy. Likely with the Bucks, unless he regains his form from last year on the Wizards, and the change of scenery kind of revitalizes him a little bit. But I'm fine getting to some Kuzma. He's a little cheap for what his role is likely going to be tonight. Banchero, 8,300, in just an amazing spot. You don't get a pace up spot like this very often, and he hasn't been told. Since he's returned, he hasn't been totally there, but we've still seen that 50 ceiling from him a couple times. I don't mind going to some Banchero in this situation. I do also like going to Franz Wagner, who has shown more upside recently, or similar upside, and is going less owned. Frankly, Franz been playing a little bit better than Banchero, but Banchero is likely to, have some positive regression here and start playing a little bit better. I think of the two, he is the better guy, but Banchero's had the edge lately. Wagner has had the edge lately. Levine, we covered. We're heading on over to small forward on DK. Kuzma, Green, Kaishan, George. I think George is a very interesting play, but I'm only going here if he is starting. He is questionable, so we don't really know if he plays. He's, pretty much the only power forward they got, so definitely a little interested there. Power forward on FanDuel. Kuzma, Banchero, Wagner. We covered all of those, and then I wanted to shout out John Collins, who's against the Lakers, the new look Lakers with Luka and LeBron. Look, their defense is awful, and now you have two of them on the court together. I don't think that spells good things for the Lakers as a whole defensively, but it spells very good things for DFS, as just means more points. Lakers are likely going to have to score their way to wins, much like the Dallas Mavericks did, say, last year, the year before. I like the spot for John Collins. I think there's big time upside there. And then Naz Reid, 7,600. Very hard for me to quit a guy that's gone for 47, 51, 44, and 38. He's 7,600. The ceiling is there. It's a tough spot versus the Cavs as a whole, but the Cavs haven't been playing super, super well lately, so I don't mind going there. On to power forward on DK. Got Kuzma, talked about him, and Bobby Portis. I think you have to consider Portis. His fantasy points per minute is just through the roof without Giannis out there, and so I like the spot. 6,300 is too cheap. He's probably coming off the bench again, but if you're going to show me 30 minutes from him off the bench, give it to me. Green, we covered. Naz Reid, we covered. Let's get over to the center spot here. We got Daniel Gafford, 7,500, 20% owned. It is versus the Kings. It's a decent spot here. And Gafford should go back to this being just, his dominant job where he's getting a ton of minutes. We only saw 26 versus Houston, but that was AD playing. 34 the game before that, 33, 33, 34. I think those minutes are pretty locked in, so I think Gafford is an interesting spot. Don't mind having some. Missy, my one big thing with him is he gets hurt so much by Zion being there. He goes from 0.84 fantasy points per minute as a starter, regressing a little bit. Then he's in a tough spot. I don't love going to Missy in this spot here. I don't mind pivoting to Naz Reid, John Collins, or Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert is 6,900 and going overlooked here. Yes, Naz Reid has played great, but Rudy Gobert has played very well and is cheaper and shows us the same type of ceiling. It's also not a terrible spot against Allen. So I don't mind going to Gobert instead of Naz. I don't love taking both of them together, but, they can occasionally go off together. It's just not very likely. And center on to DraftKings. Portis, Holmes, Naz Reid. Holmes is 4,900. I understand why people go in there. There's absolutely a chance for him to go for 30. I just think that, his chance to go for 40 is unlikely. And I want a little more upside out of my center spot. I don't mind having a little bit. I wouldn't totally fade him, but 20% owned is a little much for me. Naz Reid, we covered. Missy, we covered. And that will do it for us today, guys. I hope you guys have a great weekend. We will be back, or had a great weekend. We'll be back tomorrow. Let's make some money tonight. Good luck. See you guys later. Peace.